Welcome everyone, my name is Nick, also known as the IPP guy, and this is the IPP Education Hub. If you are considering IPP implant, then you might be asking yourself, does insurance cover my penile implant? So today we're going to answer that question so you have everything you need to feel comfortable. In short, the great answer as to whether or not insurance will cover your IPP, the answer is yes. I can attest that insurance covered mine, and I have spoken with many men who have all had their IPP treatment covered by their insurance provider. Now, to keep it real with you, I've also spoken with a handful of men who have struggled to get this treatment approved, and it can take a little bit of finagling to make it happen. Now, the first part of being able to get coverage is that you're going to need your doctor to verify that your ED is medically necessary. In other words, you can't go into your doctor and say, hey doc, I'd like to get a penile implant because I heard the IPP guy talking about it on YouTube and he said all these great things about it. Even if that's the case, you're going to need to determine that your ED is medically diagnosed and that you have a true reason to need an implant. Keep in mind that the implant is the last option for those who are struggling or having ED considerations. And so that is why you have to go through all the steps beforehand before you can get this surgery. I can tell you for myself that I also had to verify that this was sort of the last option for me, which meant that I had to demonstrate and go through the process with my urologist of trying the pills, trying the injections, demonstrating that they didn't work, demonstrating that they weren't helping my specific ED. And when you can get to that point where you and your medical professional determine that the treatment options that are currently available are not working, that's when they'll be able to determine if an IPP is your best bet for your medical circumstance. Now, I personally worked with a urologist in Tulsa who I would highly recommend. And I know that if you go through them, as I've heard with many other urologists, they will help you with the process of working with your insurance agency to make sure that this is covered. And so before you go any further, be sure that you have everything you know and just work with your medical professional as an advocate for your health and feel comfortable knowing that they are on your side and that they should help you work through the process of figuring out how to get this covered by insurance. Once your insurance approves the IPP treatment, it's important to know that the treatment itself is covered, as well as any post-op care that you're going to be needing is also going to be covered as well. Now, insurance varies from person to person, but one piece of advice that I'd like to share that may work and be a consideration that you might want to follow, you can call your insurance provider and ask them, do you cover CPT code 54405. That is the code for getting an IPP, and your insurance provider will be able to tell you if whether or not your current insurance plan will cover the IPP treatment or not. Again, please keep in mind, I'm not your insurance person. I'm not your medical professional. I'm just here to tell you about my experience with my IPP and how I hope that your IPP can help you. But when it comes to the insurance and all those elements, I think we can all attest to the fact that it's a headache. And so I want you to know that it's possible. I want you to know that if you stick with it, then there are countless men who have gone through the IPP procedure process and have had their insurance cover it. Some men pay $0 out of pocket because of the way their insurance is covered. Some people pay a couple $1,000s. Some people maybe pay more than that, but it's still much less than the overall price that it would cost to get an IPP. Lastly, I want to say for those of you who don't have insurance, but you feel like this might be your last option, please keep in mind that there are places and there are medical facilities that will offer the IPP procedure without insurance. Sometimes these medical practices will offer a cash discount or some other type of payment plan that can be really beneficial to those that do not have insurance. So as I've said before, if you feel like you're at the end of the road and you have no options, please keep in mind that if there's a will, there's a way, and you can make it happen. So as we wrap things up, I just want to reiterate that if you are wondering, does insurance cover my IPP procedure? Then the answer should be yes, it will. But at the end of the day, if this is something that you are considering, I would advocate that you don't let money be a barrier to considering getting this done. Speak to a medical professional, ask them what they think, ask them what your options are, and then see what you can do to put forward a plan that will allow you to consider getting this treatment if it's something that you decide you truly want. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to this channel and turn on those notifications so that you're kept in the loop every single time I release a video about IPP health here on the IPP Education Hub. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope that this video was valuable, and be kind to yourself and be kind to others.